Yo, what's going on, guys? Boom and boom, kaboom. Guys, today we're back at you with, guess what? Another quick take talking about everything you need to know about what? Trestolone, aka Ment. The famous, the amazing, well, we'll get into it if it's amazing or not. The amazing, we'll say it's amazing for now, anabolic steroid, Ment, Trestolone. So let's do a quick take on it. Keeping the series rocking and rolling, baby, for you guys. So we're going to talk about this stuff you really want to know and the reason you're here for. How does Trestolone, aka Ment, actually work in the real world for what? Muscle mass, fat loss, strength, sides, and negatives, baby. So let's get right into it. But first, there's two scientific things that we want to drive home, hit home. Is the science, the medical literature, is the on paper stuff important? There's some of it is, some of it's not, but we're gonna get through this real quick, talk about just two important things with Ment, Trestolone, and then we'll pop over and answer the question why you're really here. How does Ment actually work out in the real world? Guys, let's get started. But first, if you want performance, baby, performance TRT, go ahead and go to the Human Performance Clinic. Link in the comments. And also, if you want the best peptides, we're back with, we never left. We're back with Pure Raws. Link in the comments. HCG, HMG, peptide, SARMs, what have you, everything under the sun. Use code Spartan for a discount. But enough of that. Let's get started. Here we go, guys. Whew. So what do you need to know? Let's dive into the science real quick, then get into the real world, why you guys are here. Trestolone, aka Ment. What is it? What actually is it? It is a 19-nor, guys, pay attention, 19-nor anabolic steroid derivative hormone. What does this mean? You guys already know this, the veterans. We have testosterone derivatives, we have DHT derivatives, and we have 19-nor derivative anabolic steroids, baby, right? So because of that, that's where we get all the different flavors and all the different effects. Man basically took testosterone, the base, your body's natural hormone, okay? And then guess what? Started modifying it, and that's why we have testosterone derivatives, DHT derivatives, and 19-nor derivatives. But I explained that in other videos. So why is this important? In the three classes, testosterone derivative, DHT derivative, 19-nor derivative, all have different effects, different major common effects as you were in the real world in terms of muscle mass, fat loss, strength, and also some dangerous sides and negatives. We'll get into that in a second. But it's a 19-nor derivative anabolic steroid, the same as what? Trenbolone, Deca, and others. So this is important. Let's move into the last piece of scientific information, which I want to leave you with, guys. And yes, we got the red banger hardcore Seth Spartan bandana on from the old days for the training videos. I'm like Commando, I'm like Rambo. So when you watch my YouTube shorts, my TikToks, my crazy training vids for this new series, you're gonna see some Rambo training, hardcore craziness from the old days. Yeah, we're going off topic, but let's keep moving. So, anabolic androgenic rating or ratio. What do we got? On paper, based on some of the best research we have, and it might vary a little bit, but based on the research that I like and that I have, the most accurate is going to be 2,000, guys, 2,300 anabolic to what? 650 androgenic on paper, okay? Woo! We're cooking, baby. That's a lot. 2,300 to 650 on paper. 2,300 anabolic. But on paper is not the end all. That's not the end of the real world, right? We know that with halo tested and with all these other anabolics. Let's get into the real world, shall we? Let's go. This is why you guys are here. Hopping in first with muscle mass. Muscle mass, guys. How does Trestolone, aka Ment, work for muscle mass? Well, in the real world, guys, plain and simple, milligram per milligram compared to testosterone. Beautiful, lovely testosterone. I love that, right? Ment blows testosterone out of the water in terms of muscle mass milligram per milligram. Yes, guys, it is as good as they say for muscle mass. Trestolone, Ment, for sheer size, for muscle mass. Is it a great anabolic? Is it a great mass builder? Yeah, absolutely. Milligram per milligram, it is an extremely powerful, potent mass builder. The best mass builder? Well, that could be hotly considered. You know, I've talked about DHB in the past. And, well, let's not even go down that route because there's been some attention brought to DHP and dangers. Are they as bad as Ment? Well, we're going to have a little comparison. We'll have to talk about that if I remember at the end. However, this is the punchline. Muscle mass, Trestolone, Ment, amazing, extremely powerful, potent when compared to testosterone. Is it quite 2,300? I'm going to argue no, but it is a potent, powerful muscle builder, full stop. Let's move into fat loss. Fat loss, baby. How's it for fat loss? I'm going to argue it's about on the same level as Trenbolone, milligram per milligram. So direct action in terms of what? Ment, Trestolone in the bloodstream will bind to adipose tissue and release fatty acids. I'm going to argue it's around close to the same potency as Trenbolone. Oh, well, Ment's supposed to be this much more powerful. I'm talking about in terms of fat loss, guys, this is the best answer I can give you. So milligram per milligram, it's going to be around Trenbolone in the real world. And some veterans or other people can disagree, what have you. That's fine. But granted, we're all a little different, right? So fat loss, good, powerful, which is interesting because guess what? Out of the three classes, testosterone derivative, DHT derivative, and 19-nor derivative, which ones have the greatest power propensity to burn body fat? It's obviously the DHT. So out of those three, testosterone, DHT, and 19-nor derivatives, DHTs always pull ahead. They're the most potent at burning fat. However, Ment being a 19-nor, it's still really powerful just because of how plain, basic, as a base hormone, how powerful of an anabolic binding and androgenic, for that matter, binding component. It's even though it's not what I'm trying to say here is even though it's not a DHT, it absolutely cooks at fat loss like something like pure Anavar or other DHT derivatives. All right, just because of that sheer anabolic component, which we already talked about. All right, moving into strength. Whew! I'm trying to keep things steady, but we're weaving the boat all around here because like normal, there's just so much to talk about. Moving into strength. How is Trestolone meant for strength? And I'm going to have to explain too why I'm not going to give a dosage for this whacked up crazy sauce stuff, right? Strength, guys, the same as muscle mass. It's good, it's powerful, it's potent. What I personally, and I'm doing high dose testosterone, HGH, performance dosages for life, top 1% of the population. I'm not touching nothing but testosterone, HGH, and whatever's in your body naturally, okay? That's me. Having said that, personally, I'm going to pick Trenbolone over Ment for strength. Other people might disagree. You're going to carry some water with this stuff. So if we're talking about weight, if we're talking about strength to weight, it's going to be Trenbolone. If we're talking about just strength overall, you might say Trestolone. But I'm thinking like a power lifter, weight classes, you want strength to weight. Strength to weight is going to be Trenbolone. If we're talking just sheer strength, the case can be made for Trestolone over something like Trenbolone. It's a good comparison because, again, they're both 19-nors, baby. Whew. All right, let's finish this up. And this is what you guys are here for. I told you all the pros, but I'm not going to hide the cons from you either. And there's a reason why I won't touch this stuff, why I won't touch this junk, the same as Trenbolone or DECA. And you guys that have been following me for a while, you already know what I'm going to say, right? You guys already know what I'm going to say. This stuff is dangerous. Where am I getting that from? Guys, punchline, bottom line. is what? 19-nors are extremely dangerous. They carry the highest risk of sides, negatives, and dangers to the human body. They're extremely not natural as a whole, and so heavily modified that because of this, at high dosages, which is anything that we would possibly use for any amount of performance enhancement, this stuff is dangerous. 19-nors, dementia, Alzheimer's. We're talking about destroying your endothelial lining of blood vessels, arteries, and crazy amounts of plaque buildup. Guys, not just stupid Ment. Okay, Ment, amazing for the reasons I described, but get and do everything safely, legally, under doctor supervision, no matter where you live in the world, right? But guys, Trestolone Ment, it's amazing for the reasons I just described. But I'm not going to sugarcoat you and send you home with the cupcake before I tell you it's poisonous, all right? This stuff is dangerous. 19-nors, Deca, Trenbolone, and Ment. Trenbolone and Ment being the worst offenders. Direct damage to blood vessel artery lining. What this means in a short answer is inflammation and plaque buildup in your arteries, okay, period. And also direct effects on the brain in terms of can actually destroy neurons. We see that with another famous 19-nor derivative such as Trenbolone. Guys, stay healthy, stay safe, stay healthy, right? Do everything safely, legally, under doctor supervision. But guys, the punchline is you guys are adults. You know, make your own decisions regardless where you live in the world. But guys, my honest plea to you is if you're going to do this stuff, you better be getting your what? You better be, well, that's for another video. I've made this long enough. Guys, I wouldn't use this stuff. If you're going to use this stuff, you're adults, but know of the risks. We're talking extremely dangerous in terms of destroying endothelial lining. That's what coats your arteries, blood vessels. So just because the pros are great, but that just for that reason alone, I wouldn't use it. And like Trenbolone Ment, we're talking about direct damage to different areas of the brain, such as what? The hippocampus, like we see in the famous Chinese studies. Guys, the Spartan, stay safe, stay healthy. We outie, baby. Let me know in the comments what video you want me to do a quick take on next. And no, you guys, we're not stopping flexing anytime soon, because flexing is life if you want a beautiful wife. Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, we're outie.